How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs beat writer for On SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping in today. We're going to be continuing on with our training camp coverage, as today we've got three wide receivers who the Chiefs Kingdom and the coaching staff in itself should be excited / optimistic about. Three wide receivers to be excited about and or optimistic throughout training camp and potentially going into the new season. All three of these wide receivers, I will go out and say that I do believe that if they stay healthy throughout training camp and they continuously provide and produce and show that they can be assets not only to head coach Andy Reid and wherever he puts them, but also to Patrick Mahomes in his attempt to get the ball down the field this season for the Kansas City Chiefs. So just to reiterate, though, these are the three guys that I think have a really good chance of making the roster. Two, they're going to be excited to watch around training camp right now throughout the remainder of it into the preseason games, and hopefully three into the regular season. So let's start off with a veteran on this staff in Juju Smith-Schuster. While I know that I saw some predictions, or maybe they're rumors or just anything around those lines, that Juju could be the odd man out in the Chiefs wide receiving room. And to that, in my opinion, I think that Juju is the guy that is one of the more key guys to keep within the organization because of his leadership. He does not have to be the guy that he once was when he first broke out into the league, getting around the 900s, over 1,000 receiving yards. We saw it last season. In fact, we've seen two versions of Juju Smith-Schuster since being with the Kansas City Chiefs. First off, in year one with the Kansas City Chiefs back in 2022 in 16 games, he played in and had 78 receiving yards, go for 933 not receiving yards, 78 receptions, 933 receiving yards. I apologize about that. And that's the major that he had with the Kansas City Chiefs. Last season, though, he only had 231 receiving yards, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he was a bad receiver whatsoever. In fact, his longest reception went for 50 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns. He had 11 first downs, which it might have been a small sample size in that regard, but in the way that he was being used last season, he was keeping the energy on the sidelines in the locker room. He was there. He was a veteran to the younger guys last year, and thus far that we've seen into training camp this year. Head coach Andy Reid spoke on Tuesday, the 29th, saying that, Juju Smith, he is the guy. He is the guy that is the leader. He's the emerging leader for this wide receiving group. And as long as he is having that impact on the roster, I do think that the longevity benefits him in earning a roster spot down the line. I also think that he just has a very infectious personality. He seems like a very happy guy, and I think that, put him on the field, keep that in the locker room. That's kind of what the Chiefs need now, especially that they're going into this season, quote unquote, looking to have more fun. Here's the second guy that I think it has a very strong chance of making the roster for the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's Tyquan Thornton. Whether he only be utilized on special teams, whether he is used for the deep ball, whether he is used for, just getting first downs or just small yardage gains, I think that Thornton has a lot of potential to bring to this roster. It's a young wide receiving core that needs guys sprinkled in here and there. We've seen thus far into training camp for the Kansas City Chiefs that he's starting to turn a little bit of heads. He didn't make his debut with the Chiefs yet, but he's been in the system for a little bit. He has a relationship with Xavier Worthy. You know that he's going to have a lot of speed assets that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be looking to use, and he's got experience. He's, while he might have not had lived up to the expectations that he was given where he was drafted, I think that Thornton has a lot on the plate of success for the 2025 season. He's got nothing to lose. And I think that's sometimes as a player, that's exactly what you need. You either, if you know that, I can play and be able to help the team no matter what without worrying about, if I don't do this, then I won't have a job. I think that that's very, very important to the Kansas City Chiefs roster. Similarly to Smith-Schuster, like I said, he's kind of a veteran himself. While he has not played, Thornton, that is, has played in as many games as Smith-Schuster, he's still an asset, whether, like I said, it's on special teams, whether you use him situationally, or he's a major piece in your offensive game plan should he just explode during training camp and you force the hands of head coach Andy Reid and the rest of the coaching staff. I do think that he's got a strong chance. And the third one, optimistic and excited. We talked about him yesterday on the podcast. It is Jalen Royals. I know Jalen Royals. He is a very exciting player to watch. He is the real definition of optimism in that the way that we started off this podcast, because we don't necessarily know what we're going to get from Jalen Royals thus far. Whether he gets thrusted into a position of importance in the wide receiving game, or if he just rides through the first season as a rookie doing whatever he has to do when his number's called. I think that Jalen Royals has a way to build himself off of this season through training camp into the new season to elevate his stock and prove to several other teams and every other team that he didn't get picked by, that they passed up on a really talented guy. While we're still awaiting to see whether or not the Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice will be suspended or not, they are still working in the game plan with him in mind, as well as Jalen Royals kind of being the overlooking guy. They're making sure, he's following in suit. Head coach Andy Reid, he said that he's liked what he's seen thus far from Jalen Royals. A lot of the veterans in the wide receiving room have said that he's picking up very quickly, which is only beneficial for what the overall goal is for the season. If they're going to look to be having some fun this year, you got to be excited about Jalen Royals. That being said, though, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think and who are your favorite excited / optimistic players to watch throughout the training camp session for the Kansas City Chiefs. As always, you can follow me over on X at Dom Minchella. I post and repost every single day. Not going to want to miss any coverage. You can also follow us on X at KC Chiefs. We post and repost every single day throughout training camp into the regular season and every single day for free. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, as always, I am Dominic Minchella, and I will see you tomorrow. Be kind to one another.